Well, I think we have pretty much everybody here. I'm Kathleen Adams, and I really wanted to welcome you today. I'm so thrilled that you're here for something that I'm really hoping is more than a webinar. We'd like it to be the start of an actual movement, the Second 50 movement. And I want to begin today with a short story because it really is the story that started the movement. So I'm going to take you back to a sunny morning in 2006. I was driving my ambitious, generous, successful dad to the airport, and he really was all those things. He was 83, flying back to Chicago after visiting me in California, and he was still dreaming, still helping others, planning to open a dental consulting business in Palm Springs at 83. Still figuring out how to enjoy what he loved most. But for all that he accomplished with lifelong trusted advisors, he never really had true financial freedom. He never had a clear plan. He didn't have up-to-date health knowledge. And he really deserved all that. No one ever also gave him an idea that he could still dream big. And this is not how it's supposed to be. Not for him, not for any of us. He passed away on the flight home that day, and that moment planted the seed. It actually became the heart for Second 50 Financial, my financial planning business. Some of you know I have that. And now for the Second 50 movement. So what's fueling this movement is all of the years I've had learning alongside some of the brightest minds in artificial intelligence, regenerative medicine, and strategic growth. And all of that has come through two great communities, so I have to mention them. One of them is Strategic Coach with Dan Sullivan, and the other one is Abundance 360 with Peter Diamandis. I can't tell you how much I have learned and how excited I am about the future because of those groups. And especially the fuel comes from the last 10 years of listening to people and clients in my financial planning practice as they age, really deeply listening to them. So here we are. And my goal is to connect you to some of this knowledge, some of this learning, and most importantly, to each other, so we can start to shape and think about our next 50 years in a much different way. Lots more clarity, vitality, and I hope a lot more fun than you ever thought possible. So your next question might be, why now? Well, we're at a turning point in history. You know, we've all heard about this crisis of aging, right? I mean, I'm part of it. Did you know that the current aging population, and I did fact check this with AI, is the largest, wealthiest, most highly educated group to ever enter this stage of life in the United States? So you think about this, and now think about leveraging all that wisdom and experience with artificial intelligence, advanced technology, and age reversal breakthroughs that are actually here now and coming so quickly in the next 3 to 5 years. Can you imagine what's possible during this time in our life? Well, this moment is honestly to me, and not to me, actually, it's honestly as big as the arrival of electricity. And now most of us weren't here to see that, but we do remember the arrival of the internet, and it's just as big as that. But it's only going to be great if we see it. So I want us to see it, to understand it, to get prepared and use it. Remember, we are not our parents as we're aging. We are actually the people our parents warned us about. And some of you know who said that. And so now we have AI, biotech, and tools. We really can have a great second wind. And again, I'm not talking about forming this movement in this community to age gracefully and get prepared for decline. I know those things are very important. I agree with it. However, I want us to be able to age with a lot more power and a lot more ambition, excitement. And that's why the Second 50 movement exists. Let's see what's possible now, even when the news says the sky is falling. Let's get more clarity, more confidence in this chaotic, uncertain world. I'd really think if you get that, you're going to be able to conquer a lot of the fear that we get from the media. Also, I want you to be able to use simple tools so well that you can brag about them to your kids and grandkids. And of course, what's going to be really important is discovering some truly amazing and credible ways to manage or reverse these chronic conditions of aging. And I can tell you it's in ways that your doctor is not going to mention. It's just not mainstream yet. So most importantly, let's end that with connecting with people who see this turning point as a chance to feel better and do more so we can enjoy it all together. We're honestly not here to change you or fix you. We just want to be able to unlock what's possible. So I'm going to give you 4 quick reasons why we believe the foundation of the Second 50 movement is so important. Are 4 pillars that we built this around. And the first one is financial confidence, because none of this that I'm talking about matters if you're worried about paying the bills, right? Or you're worried about running out of money. So I don't offer financial planning or advice here, but what I want to get across is that clarity brings tremendous confidence. And then when you have that confidence, it creates financial freedom. Remember my dad. He had advisors, he had been successful, but he never had a plan. Trust me, freedom will come from clarity and a plan. And if that clarity reveals that you don't have all that you need or want to support yourself in your lifestyle, maybe it's time to get creative with some new tools and ideas. So that brings us to pillar 2, AI and tech are superpowers. So these tools were once for techies and engineers and college students, and honestly, now they're for us. And I'm talking about from anything from planning an amazing family reunion trip to launching a small business from your living room. You will not believe how much time and money AI saves, how it can be a thinking partner, sparking ideas, and it just genuinely makes life more fun. So we have guests today that will be talking to you the second part of the hour, Tom and Christine, and they will show you just the beginning of how it's done. The third pillar, vitality and longevity. This is critical, right? So we want to live longer. We just never want to go into a nursing home. We want to stay strong. So we're going to share science-backed ways to tackle things like dementia, arthritis, heart issues, these so-called inevitable aging diseases. We want to give you insights and actions, some that are here right now, some that are coming very soon. And you won't get these in your annual checkup because, again, they're just not mainstream yet. And the 4th pillar, of course, we've talked about, but for me, it's connection with big thinkers. It's really about enjoying, loving all your longtime friends and family. But if you're open to meeting some new people and having some fresh conversations, I really think you could open some new doors. I think life could change. So that's what this community is for. And I have 3 unbelievable collaborators here today who are going to talk to you each just for a few minutes. So I want to introduce them because I'm so honored that they're here. And then after they speak, we will be hearing from Tom and Christine. I will introduce them as well. So first guest is Rex Paris. He's a fellow Abundance 360 member, that community I mentioned. He is a visionary mayor of Lancaster, California. He runs an extremely successful law practice. He turned that city into a clean tech and green energy leader in the country. And he's living proof that taking bold action today can give you a really much better future. And he's also walking his talk by contributing to aging research. So please welcome Rex.
Hi, everybody. You know, we are at an incredible time in history. And the reason is because there's such a convergence of there's AI, there's longevity research, this is a great time to be old. And the second 50, I think, is a perfect name for it. I didn't become mayor of Lancaster till I was 56. The one thing I've recognized is that because of our age, we have this incredible, vast experience base, but we also tire easily. And I think that's what, at least what I've seen with people who go into retirement, is there's an energy difference. and you have to accommodate that. Uh, I'm good for about 5 or 6 hours where I'm at peak performance. And then after that, I know, go home and do something else. In fact, if I don't go home and do something else, they tell me to go home and do something else. When, I'm still trying cases. When I try cases, I try to be done by 2 o'clock and turn it over to the whoever I'm doing the case with. It's just recognizing that it is different, but it's also better. Examine your own life. We don't go down the rabbit holes we used to go down. We don't ruminate nearly as much. We have so much to offer. And now we have the tools to be able to continue offering it. With AI, you know, you don't need to work more than 3 or 4 hours a day. All of the routine tasks, as soon as you put them into an AI agent, you can focus on what you're best at and what are you experienced at. It and also I think that these small groups, I belong to a couple of them now, are vital. The ideas we exchange, the energy that it creates, everything in my life has become better since I've joined a couple of these. And you make great friends. I mean, at the end of the day, isn't that why we're here? To develop those relationships. I'm looking forward to getting old because it seems like I'm getting younger. And I think that the world is going to see more and more of that. I actually think we're already there of being able to stop aging. We just got to get around the pharmaceuticals, and the pharmaceuticals' job is to maintain disease, not cure it. And with that, I'll turn it back to you, Kathleen.
Great. Thank you. And I am going to introduce our next speaker. This is Brian Van Weef with the Buck Institute. I am so honored, Brian, that you decided to join the movement. And the Buck Institute is a premier global leader in the biology of aging. He's going to share a bit about how their scientists are turning breakthroughs, and some might say miracles in health, into practical steps that you can use right now. So please, welcome, Brian.
Thank you so much, Kathleen. Delighted to be here. And Rex, always great to see you and happy to count you as a member of the President's Circle here at the Buck. So thank you for that. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. I've got just a couple quick slides to kind of walk through, and I will just change the and launch that. And okay, there we go. So I'm with the Buck Institute for Research on Aging. We're a biomedical research institute located in Northern California. And we have a pretty simple mission. Our mission is to help people live healthier longer. And in many respects, we were the earliest pioneers, focusing solely on the science and research of aging. And we help introduce the concept of geroscience, which is now adopted and accepted at NIH and throughout the field. And geroscience is this idea that the study of aging and the intersection of aging and disease is very real, and how aging plays out drives our um, susceptibility and risk of many of the diseases we tend to associate with getting older. And there's a couple key takeaways that I'd like to share in this brief little talk here. One of them is aging is the greatest risk factor for every major chronic disease. And when you see it on a chart like this, it's a little sobering. But what we know about aging is that it is driving all of the chronic diseases, and you can see them listed here as we get older. And our risk of these diseases and our mortality associated with these diseases rises exponentially as we get older. And so, what we're beginning to understand at the Buck, and was really the early hypothesis of the Institute, is that through this idea of geroscience, if we want to attack and combat these diseases, the best approach is to understanding the biology of aging and intervening where we can. And part of that is this concept that aging is not fixed. It really is plastic and malleable. And that was something that was not well understood even just 25 years ago. Many researchers going back into the 70s and 80s and early 90s didn't believe you could do anything about aging. But we now know through our research and our studies and our clinical trials that you actually can affect the rate and pace of aging. And it also introduced this idea of health span versus lifespan. And you look at the top graph, the normal trajectory of a lifespan includes a fairly high percentage, 15 to 20% of our lifespan is dealing with these chronic diseases we associate with aging. And so the goal here is what can we do? What interventions through pharmaceuticals, as Rex mentioned, or behavioral or lifestyle factors, what can we do to actually push out that curve a bit, to create more space under the curve? And that space being health span, and health span being defined as the healthy years of life. So that what we're doing is we're creating more health, vitality, uh, later into life, and that period of morbidity is compressed. And so, while we still may need to deal with some of the end of life issues that we deal with today, rather than it taking 15 or 20 years, maybe it's 1 or 2 years. And we've had all this great health and vitality to follow and pursue our passions and our purpose. Another takeaway is that aging is really a systems problem. There's not just one silver bullet that's going to do it. We have evolved over millions of years to have a very, very complex biological system that has multiple layers and connections and tremendous redundancy. And it's really like a symphony in some ways of how everything comes together. And so, really, in order to understand biology, we need to understand the many levels from a molecular level to pathways to mechanisms to really find ways to intervene and improve our health wherever possible. And that was how the buck came to be. We were the first uh, independent institute to focus solely on aging, and we opened our doors in 1999. And today we have over 200 scientists who come from over 35 different countries, and all they do is study aging. They have different areas of expertise that they research and different areas of emphasis that they pursue, but they're all united by this belief that that aging is driving chronic disease, and that the best way to attack it and understand it is to decode the biology of aging. And we're located up here about 30 minutes north of San Francisco. We have a wonderful IMPay designed campus. And that is really what we're looking to do. And I thought what I'd do is just in the 1 or 2 minutes I have left to share a little bit of how some of this is playing out, particularly with one of the diseases that we're studying at great depth, Alzheimer's. And what we know about Alzheimer's is currently there's about 7 million people in the United States alone that have been diagnosed with Alzheimer's. And some people project that to almost doubling to 13 to 14 million by 2050. Today, 1 in 9 people have Alzheimer's disease. And amazingly, more people die from Alzheimer's than they do from breast cancer and prostate cancer combined. So it really is something that is a top priority and for the buck and for health in general. And so one of the couple of things I'd like to share is that what we're trying to do is develop new interventions, new ways of restoring balance and rescuing the body and biology when it goes off balance and is out of sync or dysregulated. And so Dr. Ellaby is one example of one of the things that she's just tackling is how can we prevent the onset of Alzheimer's? What are some strategies there? And so one of the unique strategies she approached is taking the Zika virus, re-engineering it, removing the virus, and and designing it so that we can put good cargo on the virus. And the reason she chose the Zika virus is it has a very unique feature of being able to cross the blood-brain barrier with ease. And that is one of the biggest impediments to getting interventions into the human brain. What she can do with that is she can now, with this Zika virus, and we're in clinical trials today, is she can load positive cargoes like different proteins and different drugs and target parts of the brain, introduce CRISPR, introduce other technologies. One of the things that I'm fascinated with is she's loading and testing this virus, bringing it across. She calls it the zip delivery system to with ApoE2 to bring into people who have ApoE4 alleles, which put you at a higher risk for Alzheimer's disease, and beginning to test in animal models, can we rescue and prevent the onset of some of the disease? And so that's one example of prevention. On the other side, we have Dr. Tracy, who's looking at rescuing brains that have already are already experiencing some declines in cognition. And so her discovery is that there's a particular protein called the Kipper protein that as we age, we see a decline in this protein in our synapses, and that we see a loss of synaptic function that's associated with cognitive decline. What she's discovered is that by putting that protein back into these cells, we can rescue or restore synaptic function, and this is particularly happening in the hippocampus, and this is the area of learning and memory. And so she's actually developing working with Lisa to use the zip delivery system, but also developing an inhaler technology that might be able to bring that protein into the brain and hopefully begin rescuing brains that have already been impacted by this terrible disease. And then finally, and I think this is one of the big trends, we've made a major push into AI technology and phenomic studies. Our lead scientist here, really we have two, Dr. Lee Hood and Dr. Nathan Price. They wrote a terrific book called The Age of Scientific Wellness, which I highly recommend. It talks about really the future of medicine and how AI is changing where we're heading. But the cool part about this is that we're actually beginning to apply these technologies using 25 years of our research to train these engines and these large language models to begin, in essence, building kind of a digital twin or an avatar, if you will, that we can start using to deliver personalized insights based on your biology relative to your risk and whether also interventions would work or not based on your unique biology. This is completely the cutting edge and where things are going. This technology, as Rex kind of and Kathleen mentioned, is changing the game. And we're very, very excited about it. And I do think this is about just a year or two away. So that's a brief introduction to the book. And thank you so much for inviting me to be part of this.
Thank you so much, Brian. And I really do want everyone to know that Brian and Daniel will be back giving us much more in the Second 50 movement. Today is just the introduction. So I do want to introduce Daniel Burris now. He is an amazing person. I don't know anyone like him. He's a world-renowned futurist and tech strategist and a New York Times best-selling author. He's written 7 books, and he's helped companies like Microsoft, Deloitte, Visa, Google, I think also the Department of Defense. So he is actually called an anticipatory leader. So he's helping people look ahead, which is exactly what we want for people in the movement. So we're going to be able to use his expertise and his methodology to help us gain a lot of confidence despite what's going on in the uncertainty and chaos. So please welcome Daniel Burris.
All right. Well, thank you very much. Well, you mentioned the word uncertainty. Let's talk about that for just a second. I would say right now, we've never had as much uncertainty as we have today. The problem is uncertainty does not empower me and it does not empower you. Like when you're uncertain, you do not write a big check. When you're uncertain, you do not say yes. You say, I'll get back to you. Uncertainty is a block to having you move forward, to create a better future, you, if you will. So what I want to do is help you to understand the science of certainty, because if everything is uncertain, I'm stuck. But if I realize how much certainty there is, I have the confidence to make a bold move. And I've come up with a way of talking about that. And of course, as she mentioned, It's about being anticipatory versus just being reactionary. Um, Agility is the strategy that companies, organizations use, and individuals use to deal with rapid change. And agility came from sports. That is, reacting as quickly as you can to a problem after it occurs. The more agile you are, the better. Reacting as quickly as you can to a disruption after it disrupts. The faster, the better. The problem is, in a world of accelerating change driven by AI and technology, agility has waning less value as you go forward. It's time that we have another strategy, and that is how to be anticipatory. And what do you anticipate? Problems before you have them so you can pre-solve them. You can do that. Anticipate disruptions before they disrupt your life and your business and your organization so that disruption becomes a choice. To help people do that, and going forward to help you all do that, I've developed a methodology. I'll give it to you very quickly because I don't have much time, in that there's no shortage of trends. The problem is which ones will happen and when. And I've come up with a solution to that I love teaching, and that is all trends are either a hard trend based on a future fact that will happen. That means it can't be changed. That's where you see disruptions before they disrupt, problems before you have them, and all the opportunities that reflects. There's also soft trends. Those are based on assumptions that may or may not happen. By the way, I love both. What do I love about a soft trend? If you don't like it, you can change it. What do you love about a hard trend? Again, it lets you see opportunities before others can see them. Let me give you a quick example of a hard trend because you're wondering, are there any certainties? And the answer is, oh, yeah. I mean, for the last 40 years, I've written 7 best-selling books. I've started 6 companies. I've written thousands of articles. And if you look, I've got an amazing track record of being right about the future of change, technology-driven change. How did I do that? Simple. I leave out the parts I could be wrong about. And I can show you how you can be right. I mean, what if you could predict the future and be right? Let me just show you how easy it is. Now, I want you to do this metaphorically, but raise your hand right now if you think we're putting a lot up in the cloud, right? The cloud's getting full. I know you didn't put your hand up. How about we went from 3G wireless to 4G wireless to 5G wireless? Put your hand up if you think that's it. Well, you didn't put your hand up because we'll have more. Matter of fact, we'll call it 6G wireless followed by 7G wireless, right? Baby boomers, chronologically, they are not going to get younger. I'm certain that they will get older. By the way, we could predict a lot of problems and pre-solve them, or we could let them play out. See, I love the idea of pre-solving predictable problems. Also, you have, and by the way, a trend by itself is academic. That's why most people don't even bother looking at them until you attach an opportunity to it. Once you attach an opportunity to it, it bursts into life. So part of teaching you how to be more anticipatory and less reactionary is about learning how to separate those two and tie opportunities to both. There's other things that I like to share, and I've got a few minutes left, so I want to do that. That is part of my learning system and so on that we're going to make part of this program, and that is how to take your biggest problem and skip it. Take a second. Think of your biggest problem right now. Probably came up pretty fast. Big ones do that. Now, I'd like you to skip it. Why? It's the wrong problem. Hey, you're smart. You would have solved it by now. You weren't working on the right problem. The real problem is fully solvable, and you can find it by asking a few questions to dig down to get the answer. I remember getting a call not long ago from my niece and Hallie, and she said, Uncle Dan, I can't save any money. Now she's got her first job. She knows it's possible. Her older sister can save money. And she said, I've been trying to save money, but I just can't save money. And I said, well, no wonder you're working on the wrong problem. You should work at how you're spending money. And of course, as you might guess, that could help her quite a bit. By the way, that's another part of what I teach. Opposites work better. Instead of trying to control how you spend, how you save, it's how you spend. We just had the 50th anniversary of Jaws. They used a couple of my principles. What was their problem? They couldn't get the shark to look like a real shark. They were almost ready to not do Jaws. It always didn't look like a real one. till they used the skip it principle. Let's not show the shark in the beginning. Let's show what the shark sees. Let's skip that problem. Opposites work better. Let's see what the shark sees instead of what a human sees. Then when they brought the shark in about an hour after the movie started, you already were into the movie and didn't care that it didn't look real. You were into it now. You see, these principles hold true. A few other quick ones for you. I know you have lived a successful life. During your second 50, you know what I'd like you to do? Live a significant life. There's a difference between success and significance. Success is all about you. How much money you make, how many degrees you have, how nice your car is. Significance is about what you do for others. What if you could become highly significant in that second 50 and learn exactly how to do that? What if instead of living just a really good life, what if you knew how to live an extraordinary life? I would like you to choose to be extraordinary on a daily basis. And what about the undiscovered you? I mean, when you're in your late 90s, let's say you're, at 100 years old, will you have discovered all that you are capable of doing? You might be the best flute player in the world. Maybe you've never picked one up. There's a way to discover the undiscovered you. Lastly, future view is another. And there's a lot that I could share, obviously, but let me just share future view. How your kids, how we all view the future shapes how we act in the present. Right now, there are people that are buying Apple. There are people that are selling Apple. What's the difference? Their future view of Apple. So how you view the future shapes how you act. By the way, how you act shapes your future. Your future view will determine the future you. And I would like to suggest that all of you, your future view is less than it should be based on the new transformational hard trends that are shaping the future. When you can elevate your future view, not just with zip boom bah motivation, but with what I call future facts that are grounded in certainty. You elevate your future, what happens? Your future is elevated. So we are going to learn how to not just be reactionary, fast reactors, agile. We're going to learn how to make this second 50 extraordinary. We're going to be thinking much bigger, and we're going to be anticipatory. All right, thank you very much.
That was awesome, Daniel. Really enjoyed listening to that. I wanted to tell everybody too, this is part of the reason why I'm so excited about the movement, because our collaborators are just, to me, magnificent. And I think and I believe most of us want to be extraordinary. So last but not least, I want to introduce Tom Lambot and Christine Rivet. They are, I don't know what to say about them. They're really special people. I met them again in my trusted groups, and they came in and they trained my financial team, and we were just blown away. So they have created an unbelievable workshop for the second 50 that you're going to have access to in August if you have an interest in it. But today they are going to give you a taste of that, and I think you're really going to find it tremendously useful. Tom is the founder and president of Global Mech IT. He's a trusted AI advisor for business owners, professionals, and individuals, including teams like Tony Robbins Group. He's known for making AI simple, and that is a superpower of Tom's and Christine's. And Christine, she's an AI educator and strategist, and I can't tell you how clearly and effectively she can teach concepts, because if she could teach AI to me, she could teach it to anybody. So I want you to welcome both of them, and I will let them take it away for the remainder of our time.
All right. Thank you very much, Kathleen. All right, let's jump right in here. So the little presentation we've put together here is the AI confidence revolution, how people past 50 are using AI to live smarter, plan better, and stay ahead. Now, this is not a keynote, nor is it another generic and overwhelming AI webinar that's going to teach you how to master AI with the latest 37 AI tools you must be using yesterday. I'm going to guess most of you have sat through enough of those already. our focus is to deliver a presentation. We built this specifically for people who have lived, learned, and want to stay relevant in a world that is changing as fast as it currently is. So what I'm going to share today are two simple mindset shifts that help you save hours each week and will also help you make better decisions without getting lost in the tech complexity. Our intention is to make AI accessible and help you see that it's not just another, overwhelming, complicated technology that you're required to master. If anything clicks for you, we're going to share a way we can explore this further at the end. And the goal is to give you tools you can take, use, and implement today. A quick quote I've been obsessed with lately. It's by Charles Mingus. And it says, "Making the simple complicated is commonplace. Making the complicated simple, awesomely simple, that is creativity." And that's what we do here at AI Simplifier. So what you're going to get today is the two mental tools to help you really simplify AI and make it actually something that's beneficial and helpful in your life. You're going to see how people like you are using it to save hours each week, not with fancy tech setups, but simple approaches to planning, decision-making, and organizing your thoughts. Now, if you're already an advanced daily AI user, you're going to walk away with tons of insights as well. And if you're totally at the other end of the spectrum, you will get a lot of insights as well. That's one thing that's very different, is that our methodology of teaching, by focusing on kind of foundational mindsets, lands with everyone regardless of where, what their skill level currently is. And you're also going to get a framework to help you break through tough decisions, whether it's a mental, emotional, financial, professional, etc. So I want to help you flip AI on its head. I want to demystify the complexity that our society has created around it, right? AI was created by engineers, brilliant people, far, far smarter than me. But the problem is that it's also being trained by these same people. That's where the idea of prompt engineering has come. In my mind, just the definition of it itself, prompt engineer, means it's over-engineered. So we found some really cool ways to get around it. Christine, after you.
Yeah. So, Tom and I hear all the time from people, AI feels like just another technology that's more trouble than it's worth. You've asked GPT, maybe a question or two, you get some generic responses and you thought, what's the big deal? I don't get it. Your kids or your grandkids might be excited about it, but you're thinking it's probably not that important for you to figure out, right? Does that all sound familiar? Well, that's exactly what we're here to change today. If you've already been experimenting, that's awesome. I love it. If you've already, but if you've not covering basics or you're doing some kind of party tricks, we're going to change how you think about what AI can actually do for you. And I think you're going to be amazed.
Why don't you tell me how great I am, Christine?
Well, Tom's here to impress you. He wants to share what actually, or he's not here to impress you. He wants to share what actually works. He's spent 19 years building and running a company before moving to his current work. That was Global Mac IT. That's where I met him. For the past 2.5 years, he's been obsessed with AI, not the flashy stuff, but he's been looking for the 2% that gives you 98% of the benefit. He's worked with hundreds of people to test what works, what doesn't, what actually improves daily life, including folks like Tony Robbins, Peter Diamandis, and Blake Mykowski from Tom's Shoes. If you've ever worn a pair of Tom's, that's where Blake is. Everything we are sharing came from real people using this stuff, not just theory. And we want to provide you with the tools that you can use this week to actually bring clarity and value to your life.
Thank you, Christine. Christine has been with me for 5 years. Everyone just raves about her anytime they get to spend time with her. She loves to help. That's the kind of the core thread through everything that she does. She now uses AI to help others do the same faster and with more impact. She spent 25 years building and leading top performing commercial real estate teams before making the jump to tech. And she's been using and teaching AI for nearly 3 years. She also helped design and lead a 12-week AI training program that we did a couple of years ago. She's coached everyone in my IT company, Global Mac IT, how to integrate AI into their daily operations. And she now leads our 30-day AI sprint for teams and does a lot of one-on-one work with our clients. So, Christine, why do people struggle with AI?
Well, this is where most people are right now, maybe where you're at. People are poking around haphazardly. Someone mentions ChatGPT at dinner. You heard about AI tools from a friend, but there's no direction, right? It's just random attempts, hoping something will click. Feels like you should be doing something with AI, but you're not really sure how it's going to make your life easier. And here's the thing, that's not your fault, right? Nobody's shown you how to make AI serve what you actually care about. People are dabbling with AI instead of directing it. And so here's what we're going to solve. How you make AI work for things that matter to you instead of feeling like you're chasing the latest trend.
So change is constant, especially in the AI race, right? Every single week, one tool is better. Is it Claude? Is it ChatGPT? Is it Gemini? Is it Grok? Is it the latest new one on the block? I wasn't even trying to make that rhyme, but I'm running out of time. Just kidding. Sorry. So what is not going to change is good thinking, right? How you go about thinking and making decisions. You don't need more apps. You don't need to sign up for all these different tools, right? What you need are simple frameworks. I believe very strongly that less is more. You've got to find a way to cut through all the hype and all the noise and all the overwhelm, because that's what is keeping a lot of people from making real progress. The approaches that we teach work no matter which AI tools you're using, no matter which, what new tool is going to come out 3 weeks from now. A client in Mumbai who runs an AI software development company actually told me, he said, Tom, what's really cool about your methods is that what I just learned is going to be just as relevant a year from today as it is right now. And I think that says a lot. And so the real value is clear thinking equals less confusion equals better results, right? Everything that's out there right now in the marketplace is focused on tactics, the latest feature, prompt engineering, and it's too much, but no one has actually taught you how to slow down and shift the way that you approach things. And one of my favorite quotes in the world is by Wayne Dyer. And it says, when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. So that's what we're going to try to do with the 2 mindsets we're going to go over today. So the first one is very simple, but it creates huge results. And it's easy to read it and go, oh yeah, I know that. But bear with me. Most people that I know spend way too much time typing. Okay, typing out emails, notes, lists, plans, text messages. But the thing is, typing is actually the enemy of clear thinking. I believe that this thing here, the keyboard, is evil. Tom, you're crazy. How can a keyboard be evil? It's not our fault. It's all we know. But ever since we've had typewriters or writing, the only way we can get thoughts out of our head is by typing them into the computer. And so when you type, though, you actually start editing before your thought is complete. So the concept here isn't just dictation. It's really speaking your thoughts so the AI can organize them for you. Okay, I've seen people go from spending 2 hours to planning a complex trip to talking through their preferences in 10 minutes and getting a complete detailed itinerary back 10 times stronger than they would have ever been able to build in 2 hours. And this really starts to shift how you change your time, right? This allows you to capture ideas without getting bogged down. And if you're already using AI, if you stop typing in your prompts and trying to get the 7-step recipes for AI prompt engineering that you've been taught, you will get far better output. So what I recommend is get rid of the prompt engineering. You don't need it. It's overly engineered. And the reason it kills your best thinking, again, is because it forces you to stop yourself, right? And every time you stop, you're killing your flow. In your mind, you've got high definition. You know exactly what you want, what you don't want. You know the nuances, the details, the background. You know what your goal should be. But then what do you type into ChatGPT? Help me plan my trip to the beach. Right. But in your mind, you know what you don't want, what you do want, where you want to stay, where you don't want to stay, what you want in a house, right? You know all the details, but we've been conditioned to skip and not feed all the nuance and details because we have to type. So shift number 1 is to switch from speaking, from typing to speaking, right? And the core idea here is AI should work with how you naturally think and not force you to change. But that's what we've all done. We said, hey, we've got ChatGPT, and this is how you've got to communicate to it, right? So what you want to do is talk normally, share what's on your mind, talk for 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes. It's really easy. You just hit the little microphone button on your ChatGPT app on your phone or on your computer. Most LLM kind of tools have this now. So you just talk freely. You don't filter yourself. It doesn't matter if you stutter or if you say or if you stop for 30 seconds and then come back, right? Just speak your raw, unfiltered thoughts and then let AI do the structuring, right? That is the right division of labor. You're bringing your wisdom and your experience. And if you're in your second 50 years, you bring more than anyone, right? Then you let AI handle the organizing. I do this every day. I literally type 10% of the time that I used to. And when I do it, it's awkward, right? Because it's just grossly inefficient, essentially. And the result is I have faster thinking, more clear communications, and a lot less mental fatigue. Most people waste a tremendous amount of energy trying to craft the perfect prompt. And this approach flips that completely. Christine.
Yeah, so that, that first mindset that Tom just mentioned, it helps you think faster. I call it free flowing. And for most people, that alone changes everything about AI and makes it successful. But speed, it only matters when you're headed in the right direction. So that's where the second mindset comes in. It's about seeing clearly. When you combine both, the natural thinking flow, clear perspective, that's when things are really going to get interesting with AI. So let's move from saving some time to making better decisions. This is one of our very favorite tools. I think we both probably use it. I know I use it every single day. I'm pretty sure Tom does too, multiple times a day. Whenever I'm stuck on a decision, it's usually because I'm seeing it from just, with kind of like with blinders on, just one perspective, one angle. The 3 experts approach gives you instant perspective, instant multiple perspectives, actually. It's a thinking tool that uses AI, but it's built around how we actually make decisions. Fast, surprisingly helpful, and it consistently shows you what you're missing. So let me walk you through it. Think about the last big decision that you are going in circles on. You're probably stuck in your own head. You don't really need more information. You need different viewpoints, how to look at it differently than just yourself. The fastest way to break through that is seeing it through a different eyes. I've always said that 4 eyes better than 2, 6 are better than 4. So now that's where you get that kind of 3 experts, right? They've got different viewpoints, different eyes on the same problem, the same issue. The 3 experts approach uses AI to simulate that. It's like having a panel of the best advisors out there without costing you anything or having even to schedule it. You can do it when it's convenient for you. And it works in very, very few minutes. I mean, it's truly every single day I say, wow. I think there's not a day that I work with that I don't say, wow, with AI. So you're not starting from scratch. You're asking smarter questions. So here's how the AI or the 3 experts work. You start by describing, just like Tom did, don't type it. That stops your free flow. Start by describing everything, the situation, what your concerns are about the situation, what you're hoping for as the end result. Since you're talking now, giving it that context, then ask AI to suggest 3 people who'd be great advisors, real names or just the type of experts. Once you have them, then ask AI to show you how each would tackle your situation. So say you're looking to decide where to go on vacation and you want to go to Massachusetts, you don't know where, or maybe you want to go to France, but you're not sure where. Maybe you're looking to buy a new summer home. Maybe you're looking to help yourself with some health concerns. bring in the 3 experts that would be best for them. And AI can give you suggestions. If you have somebody that you really strongly align with, or you want to get that input, you can suggest that person too. So this is going to push your thinking beyond what you can do alone. If you want to try this after we're done, here's exactly what to say. Use this in any AI chat. It doesn't make any difference what tool you're using. You're asking it to think like a team of advisors, not just answer a question. The key is easy clarity, 1 request, 3 perspectives, instant comparison. It takes 5 minutes and has helped both Tom and I, a number of people, and just anybody that we've worked with, countless people. And you can use it, like I said, for travel planning, purchasing decisions, such as a second home or hobby cars, family situation, passion projects, anything you're stuck on. So the questions that you ask is, who are the 3 best people to help me think through what I just described? How would each of them approach the situation? And where do they agree, disagree, and see different priorities? So, Tom, why don't we try it out?
Yeah, thank you. What I love about the 3 experts, another kind of a metaphor that I use is the 3 circles of knowledge. Some of you may be familiar with this. So at the first circle, you have the things that you know. Okay, it's not much. We like to think it is, but it's really not. Right? This is everything that I know. The second concentric circle are the things I know I don't know. I know that I don't know how to fly a plane, for example. And the third circle on the outside, which is far bigger than the others, is everything I don't know, I don't know. And the thing is, no matter how smart you think you are, no matter how hard you try to look at this, you can never break into that outer circle, because by definition, you don't know, you're not even aware that you don't know these things. That's where the 3 experts helps. It gives you instant perspectives. It brings in different experts that help you look at a problem a different way. And so here is, let's go ahead and do a real one. Let's see. Let's go with number 3. I recently had some lab work done. And something that I found really helpful, although I do work with Reagan Archibald, who's an amazing functional medicine doctor, I find it helpful. I still like to take things in my own hands. So here, all right. So I've just uploaded my wife's blood work. All right. And I'm going to hit the F5 key on my computer. That lets me transcribe instantly. Actually, I'll do the little microphone. Okay, so attached here is the most recent blood work for my wife. What I want you to do is bring in 3 of the best experts in the world in longevity, in functional medicine, and you pick the 3rd type, who would be the absolute most helpful people to analyze the blood results here and give us the 3 most helpful insights and action items she should focus on. So I hit the check mark here, and then it's going to instantly transcribe everything, and then you hit go. So instead of saying analyze the blood labs, I gave a lot more context and detail. Okay, here we're doing a quick demo, so I didn't go too much into detail. So, all right, we're going to bring Dr. Peter Attia, Longevity and Metabolic Optimization, Dr. Mark Hyman, Functional Medicine and Hormonal Balance, and Dr. Rhonda Patrick, a micronutrient and brain-body resilience expert. It actually tells me the biggest insights right off the bat. So each one, so the first one, her IGF-1 level is elevated. While it's not alarmingly high, it sits above the optimal longevity range. So it gives me, exactly what to do. She's got to increase her protein. We knew that. And bonus flag, just different things that stand out. So instantly, instead of just me trying to make sense of my blood results, which is helpless and will never happen, now I've got these 3 experts coming in. And next thing I'd like to do is simulate a discussion between the 3 of them to do a deeper analysis of her blood results. And let's see if we can get them to agree on the top 3 actions she should take in the next 30 days to see a real increase in her energy. For additional context, we are aware that she has Hashimoto's, and we've got 5 kids and a very busy life. So AI thrives on context and on detail and on nuances. So again, when you start getting used to talking, having a discussion and sharing more detail, instantly you're going to notice the responses and the output are going to be far more helpful. So I don't have a time to read through all this, but it's pretty cool. Now the three of them are actually having a simulated discussion, analyzing her labs, and we're getting some very real, specific, actionable advice that we can take from this. All right, I know it's kind of a tease because we're limited for time. So the reason that these shifts work, okay, the first one, you're going to save time because you're going to stop fighting your natural thought process, and you're going to find it far more easy to actually interact and have valuable interactions with AI instead of sitting there trying to type the right words. The second is you're now empowered to make better decisions because you're breaking out of your own perspective. I've improved my smoked brisket using the three experts. I've gotten help with my landscaping, all random things that I'm not skilled to do, and things that I am skilled to do. I've gotten people at the next level who can give me even more specific advice and guidance. So when you start using both of these mindsets consistently, you're going to change how you approach decisions, planning, and problem solving. And most importantly, you're going to stop feeling overwhelmed by AI. You're going to start developing confidence, and you'll start making it work for you in your life. So to wrap it up, yeah, you just experienced those two tools. Congratulations. That's a sneak peek into our mindsets. And what we have created exclusively with Kathleen is we've put together an exclusive 30-day AI Simplifier sprint for the Second 50 movement. Our core offering, everyone that starts working with us goes through a 30-day AI sprint. People don't want to spend 12 weeks going through it. It's 4 90-minute sessions, and you can get the full details at the link, which will drop into the chat, and you can also scan the QR code. We're going to keep it small, just 25 people, real applications. Everything is built for results that you can use. And that's really it. Uh-oh. Kathleen, you still with us?
I'm here. Thank you so much, Tom. I guess I was really excited to listen again because we've been through some of this and it's always wonderful. So quickly, we are out of time for questions and I apologize for that. So if you do want to put them in the chat, Allie is capturing them and who posted the question, and we will definitely get back to you and get some answers. And if anything sparked an interest in you today, please think about joining us. Contact us. You can right now use our email or connect on LinkedIn, look at our website. But I want to tell you, Tom and Christine, thank you so much. I can't believe that you can provide so much value in 15, 20 minutes that you had there, but I'm positive everybody will love it. And by the way, if you're on GPT, if you have, apps, that little microphone at the bottom is the one that I always use. Tom mentioned it, but you just click on it and then start talking into it. I'm still stunned at how easy that is. And then Brian and Daniel, the wisdom and the value that they bring there, I'm so grateful. All of them are partnering with us. And we'll be back. We will offer future workshops and webinars and talks. So if you have an interest, please consider joining us in the movement. And thank all of you today. When I have time, and certainly on the website, I do want to thank so much my team, Allie Keller and Erica Fritz. And you didn't really see them today, but they're really partnering with me to get this movement launched. And they are taking care of all the execution in the background, and they're just brilliant. So I wanted to thank them, even though you can't see them. Okay, so I guess that's it for us today. I want to be respectful of our time. We're almost at the 60-minute point. And again, Daniel, Brian, Rex, Tom, and Christine, I couldn't be more thrilled that you are collaborating with us. So grateful for that. And I really hope to see many of you come back and be with us again. Thank you so much.